Hey guys, so I want to talk about connecting to God and connection to source and unplugging from the matrix. We have an understanding that there's varying degrees of levels of disconnecting from the matrix, taking the red pill and not the blue pill. And these are all little steps in our journey. For example, being exposed to narcissistic parents, being exposed to narcissistic partner, being exposed to narcissistic friends, being exposed to psychopaths at your work, waking up to conspiracies. These are all honorable and necessary parts of the journey of awakening. But there's only one true connecting to source, to God. There's only one really, and everything else is just mini levels that you want that we keep ascending to over many lives, over many reincarnations until we get to the highest level. And that complete connection to source is one thing. Surrendering to the present moment whilst on earth, which comes with a feeling of deep peace and unconditional love. And that's the only true meaning, actually, of connecting to Source, because God sees the world through unconditional love on everything that He's created. He's created everything on earth and in other frequencies. Even the devil's been created by God and every soul here. So God, the omniscient, omnipresent, omnibenevolent, all seeing, all knowing, all everywhere, loves everything unconditionally and lies in a state of deep presence and oneness and relaxation, a peace that surpasses all understanding. And his joy he gives to his separate sense of self, but not really separate, just to his fragments of self, to the souls, to the trillions and billions and all kinds of galaxies created, is connection to source. And on Earth, my understanding from people that take near-death experiences and come back is Earth is such a stark contrast from unconditional love that we received when we were waiting to be reincarnated, when we were in heaven and we chose all this. That oneness, the drop in vibration when you come through the birth canal into the womb and out your mum's vagina, is one of the biggest frequency drops that one can experience, and it's why it's an honor to be a soul here on earth. Also, near-death experiences say that many more souls want an incarnation on earth that actually get to receive it, despite the growing populations we have here on earth. And then, if you're like anyone watching this and myself, you are not just doubly blessed to have a incarnation here at this time, no doubt, because you're listening to this, you've chosen a fucking even harder vibration contrast from love role. Your parents and your family gave you some bullshit conditional love from narcissism or psychopathy, and then you tag on your friends you've attracted and your partners, and that contrast drop is so extreme that actually you are beyond blessed. But I might add, anyone that comes to earth is considered a very brave soul, and the journey is over many lifetimes. And what the real truth is that God wants a reciprocal relationship. He doesn't judge you. He's waiting and giving you multiple lives to come back to him, what Jesus calls the kingdom of heaven on earth, which is called being ready to drop your false self and to surrender to the present moment all the time. You don't lose your personality. You're still individuated, but you are now chakra aligned. Your soul is now sitting deep in the body, and you are completely present, whether it be with friends listening, whether talking, whether sitting in a room doing nothing. Permanent awakening is connection to source, like in the Matrix. And from there, there's no going back. You can have tastes of it, but once you have full awakening, you're connected permanently to source. At that point, what we call dying before you die, at that point, after the actual physical death becomes a literal feeling of non-worry and shedding of the coat and a deep inner knowing that there's another place beyond this, with 0 ounce of fear, because there is 0 ounce of separation left in your brain, because God is not separation, and you are never not connected to source. But souls come down here to experience the contrast drop between oneness and extreme duality, especially us lot, with so much abuse, so much to learn. The great joy is in one of your incarnations, whether it be this one, 5 down the line, or 50 down the line, you will return to the kingdom of heaven on earth and get to experience earth in the present moment permanently. And then you can transcend to either being a spirit guide, an angel, or going on to another frequency level, because this is a very dense frequency level. And to come here is to come to a world full of pain, physical, emotional suffering, a lot of injustice, but you earn your stripes. Your soul, which is individuated, it's a paradox. Your soul is individuated and a part of the whole at once. Can feel both at once. You can feel individuated and connected at the same time. It's called being deeply present. And most of you watching this have been present, whether you've used psychedelics to do that, whether you've just been to a new place traveling and you've been present for a second or two. Each moment of presence is to be celebrated, because it's a taste of how God lives 24/7, and he's waiting for that. He's waiting kindly for that reciprocal relationship where his unconditional love for you and me, which is 24/7 unconditional, is reciprocated back to you being present down here on earth, where you also walk around not judging people 24/7. I don't know what truth that I have spoken, because not one word have I spoken here, so help me God, has been incorrect information. I am, for all of my great things I need to work on, I am honestly very aware, and I need to lose the ego on it, but I'm very aware that I am speaking deep truths. And the most important, two most important things is to know truth, and then to know truth is not enough. To know truth, but to experience truth. Knowing is only there to get you to experience. A lot of people in spiritual communities end up with knowing, and then they're narcissists, or they end up delusional. They go over to ego. They think unconsciously they're above God. Knowing is not enough, because knowing without attempting, and on that journey of empathy and compassion and understanding and surrender, knowing only increases separation and increases toxicity and deep false pride. So knowing is one, but I present deep knowing. I explain it in simple ways. My knowing will deepen as I journey, but my knowing and my truth that I've spoken here is 100% true, irrefutable between me and God. God forgives me whatever I say, whatever we do here. But I've come here as a knower, as a soul knower for you guys, a soul truther who's now, who is committed to moving from always speaking knowing, but to being. Because from being and surrendering and presence, I don't lose my knowing, but the knowing and the communication and the connection and the love that I present through the eyes and through my being becomes much more real. And that's what we came here to do. To know God, number one, and then to be God, number two. To reciprocate that relationship and connect to source. How fucking cool and how fucking exciting. You don't die. Feels like it though. Shout out to God for the amnesia and the self-forgetting. Absolutely key. The veil of forgetting, the veil of amnesia makes this journey feel fucking real. If you didn't have the veil of amnesia when you came down here, if you knew that you signed up for everything that you did, because you did, if you knew your pre-birthing contract, you chose your parents, your family, your traumas, your girlfriends, your partners, your friends, all the heartbreaks and all the challenges, if you knew you came down here, there wouldn't be any motivation, there wouldn't be meaning. You'd be connected here and then connected up there. This has to feel like separation. And the more challenges you put on your pre-birthing contract, the more separate you feel, the harder, the longer, the more motivated you are to reciprocate that relationship back to God. But rest assured, all souls, whether you judge them, whatever you judge them as, God doesn't. God understands that all souls return to him. And that is a deep truth, and we don't even die. Peace.